This is a tricky one. It definitely messes with our expectations. First and foremost, though, I hope that everyone is able to eliminate something like choice A. Just reading this sentence out loud, you should hear that there's certain breaks going on, and there's not enough to just kind of continue on this thought. We need some sort of punctuation as a way to shift between the different things that are happening. For the rest, though, we truly do need to understand, where do sentences begin and end here? What's going on? So the first part, I think, is really easy to hear. Governments are not the only ones with the power to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. That comma is kind of breaking something up, and sure enough, it's also showing me I've got a full sentence here. This green part could stand on its own. I could put a period where that comma is and just be done. But the sentence continues. Let's see what we hear. However, in addition to cutting their own pollution, corporations can encourage their customers to live green by offering products that make environmentally responsible decisions easier. This is its own complete thought, and the more kind of like smaller portion of that, corporations can encourage their customers to live green, that is its own sentence that could also stand alone. So we can't just use commas here to attach these two thoughts. There's other things going on, but somewhere along the way here, we need a strong punctuation mark that can divide two sentences. So choice D is wrong because it's not enough. These commas are not enough to combine two sentences because we don't have any other words that would do that, like a word like and or but, a conjunction. Stronger or bigger words like however and in addition, they might seem like transition words that function like conjunctions, but they are not. They require harder, bigger punctuation like the colon or the dash. Now, to be quite honest, this part doesn't interest me. Both of those could work. We could use a colon to separate a complete sentence from something else, right? So that's the way to use a colon. It requires a complete sentence beforehand, and then we have some options for what comes after. We could also have a complete sentence, but we don't need to. In this case, that seems like what we'd have. And on top of that, sometimes the dash can behave like a colon, so it can do the same exact thing. So I am not interested in that decision because there really isn't one to make. That would be the author's decision. It's just they're both fine. The real difference comes down to the end here. Do we need a comma after in addition or not? So go to this part. What's happening here? Do we need a break? If we said, in addition to cutting their own pollution, corporations can encourage their customers to live green, it feels like we're breaking in the middle of a thought. This is just one long introduction. In addition to cutting their own pollution, corporations can encourage their customers to live green. So there's no reason to break apart the thought with the in addition piece. So that means that choice B is going to be the answer. We don't want a comma there. So this is very strange. We don't normally write sentences in this way. In fact, I personally think this entire sentence is very poorly written. It's very confusing to your reader, but we don't have that kind of ability to change things. We only can change what's underlined. And in this case, we're really thinking about where do the breaks happen in the sentence, and we need a good knowledge of the advanced punctuation marks in order to see some of those breaks more clearly. This is what happens on the SAT. Don't try to just write the sentence yourself with your own punctuation that you would put and then look for the answer there. It might not be there. Use the 4 options and eliminate things. Chop them up into smaller pieces if you need to. But remember, this is a multiple choice test. The correct answer is there somewhere, so test out what you're given and see if you can find it by process of elimination instead of just kind of guessing what's going to be right and looking to see if it's there.